Ooh, dumped rubbish by some commercial bastard. Look at that. How bad is that? I've been looking at this for a few weeks. I'm wondering, what can I make out of a piece of plastic like that? Well, I'm going to cut some out of it, grind a piece out, take a piece away, see whether I can make something out of a big sheet of plastic. These are my bits of plastic that I cut out of some broken dumpster bins that are on the side of the road. I'm going to attempt to make myself a sluice. Not just any sluice, but a special type of sluice. It's really in fashion at the moment, so we'll see how we go. That's the main part of the sluice. The squiggly lines, they're going to be cut off. The basic shape. The edges, the 55mm sides, they are going to be heated with a heat gun and put over a bit of a jig and tried to fold it up to be a 90-degree angle for the sides. We'll see how we go. Try and cut this out. It's going to make the sluice 585mm long and it's 295mm wide, but it doesn't have to be a specific size because of this design of sluice. I'm going to actually make the riffles and they fit perfectly inside the box once I've folded it. And that's the other piece of plastic that's going to actually make the riffles. Anyway, wish me luck. We'll see how we go. Cheers. Okay, in this build, my first attempt was to fold this using heat. And my heat gun died, and then I decided to use the propane map gas torch. And that didn't work so well, it just cracked and melted it basically, so I've had to cut it off, make it a little bit narrower, but we're still going ahead with it, having a play with it. I've done a bit of research and I'm going to have to go and get some polyethylene plastic primer and glue, and apparently it works very, very well with this type of polyethylene plastic or polypropylene, which has that sort of shiny non-stick sort of finish to it, which we'll see how it goes with the adhesive, and we'll show you the rest of the build as we go along. Okay, first step is I've trimmed off the sides with an angle grinder, tried to do nice straight cuts and everything else, had to trim them up a little bit. Same with that side, cut it off instead of folding it. And I'm using that Sally's all-purpose plastic. It's specially designed for this polyethylene plastic, or polypropylene plastic, that shiny stuff. And it does what it says. So you just basically use the primer on both surfaces and then apply the glue on one surface, and then basically just stick it on. Hold it for about 30 seconds. Let it set. It says best for, like after an hour, but I'm going to leave it overnight. And then we're going to put the little wings on it, cut them out, put the wings on for the mouth part at the front, and then we're going to start working on the riffles, which I'm going to again make out of plastic, and we're going to make it completely different. But step one, cut out. Step two, glue it on. Yeehaw. Okay, I've left this glue overnight, and you can see it's not bad, it's holding it together. First thing this morning is I've got my orbital sander out and give this a bit of a sand, and tried to bring it up so it's a little bit of a rough surface, just for the initial transfer plate or slick plate, because I'm now going to start designing the riffles through my drop riffle sluice made out of a dumpster bin. There you go, we'll see how it turns out. Cheers. Okay, I've been starting to manufacture these drop riffles. I've glued two pieces of this plastic together with the special glue, and I'm making them all different widths sizes, depths and shapes. This one's got a little lip at the back, it's actually beveled down. Okay, this one here, I've actually sanded it, beveled it, still got a little lip at the front though, but that's about as good as I can get it. The next one has a drop, square drop, but with a beveled edge on the back of it, so hopefully that will, I don't know, facilitate it in there. Next one is a square block, and then I've used a piece of the offcut to actually use it as a spacer, and glued the next riffle in. And as you can see, it's got a step. Yeah, it's not even, it's got cuts in it, whatever, I don't really care. I'm actually just having this as an experiment, see how it'll go. And I'm going to try and make extra, I've got to cut extra bits of plastic here and make it in all different spaces and different shapes and everything to try and make this drop riffle sluice. We'll see how it goes. We'll see whether it works. I don't really care if they're square or straight or whatever, as long as it traps gold. We'll see. We can only try. Having a crack out of recycled materials. Why bloody not? Okay, I've been playing with my drop riffle sluice all day today. Drop riffle, river sluice, making it out of a busted bin that I found on the side of the highway. 2 of them, cut a big section out. But yeah, I'm just experimenting. Why not? I've got a bit of a lip here, catch any fines, see how we go. Sloped up, drops into a square riffle. A little bit of a beveled edge on here as it slopes in. Square edge, little step, square edge, another square edge. But then I had some offcuts, so I thought, what the hell, we'll just have a go, fit it, see if it helps funnel material in here and blow it out the sides. Then it's beveled again here, and then under here it's actually back cut, so it goes back under that piece, and then a step up, another step up, another step up with a beveled edge, and then back to another undercut piece. And at the moment I'm racking my brain on what to do for the very end of the sluice. So I'll probably just keep mixing the riffles up, making them different. I'm going to make them double thick, so it's about here. And then I'm thinking, well, if I make it double thickness high like that one, maybe I'll drill some holes in it and see if we can catch some fine stuff in the holes. And then we'll do some aggressive riffles near the end. But hey, for $40 in Australia for the plastic glue, never know, this thing might work. He works, he cranks. Anyway, leave it there, see how we go. Hey guys, I'm still making my rubbish drop riffle sluice. I've got a step up at the front and a back cut at the back of this sluice, or back of this riffle. I'm going to try and get my angle grinder and cut a groove in here, cut another one in there, and then I'm going to use a drill and drill a heap of little holes in here halfway through the material, so it just changes it up and it goes the full Freddy Dodge, something different. And we'll see how it all turns out, see whether it works if we ever get water flow. Anyway, yeah, with this drop riffle sluice, I'm trying to make every sort of riffle a little bit different to the one in front of it. Trying to change it up, trying to mix it up and make it different. But hopefully it'll work. Should trap gold. Nearly everything traps gold. Even a sheep carcass chucked in a creek will trap gold. Anyway, we'll keep you updated when we're getting it built. Cheers. Well, that started to crack where it is joined, so I'm going to have to try and re-glue that. But that's the idea, give it plenty of options to catch gold. Okay, this is the primer for the plastic, so I'll give it a good going over, try and prime it right up. If this tends to fail, well, we're going to try something a little bit different. I'll try and drill holes through it and use pop rivets to hold some of these pieces down. Because this is polyethylene plastic, you've got to use this sort of primer to actually prime the plastic up so the actual glue, which is just a super glue, etches in properly. Otherwise it doesn't really bite. So anyway, we'll chuck a bit on. Try and get this thing to stick back down. I bought 4 packets of this stuff to try and make this. So see if I can get it so it's square. That's about it, so I'll try and lock it down. Let the glue go off, and hopefully we'll get a decent bond this time. It was bonded, but it just, with the drilling process, it kind of drilled through and cracked it. So anyway, we're going to see how this turns out. It doesn't take too long for this shit to go off. It's usually pretty well set within about 15-20 minutes. But let's hope this dumpster bin drop riffle sluice, nicknamed the Neo. Catcher. Make a new riffle for it now. Okay, I've measured it, that's how wide the sluice is. I've made it a little bit wider because I can always grind it or sand it down to get it to fit nice and tight. This is going to make a double, going to join it together, make it a double. Then I'm going to do a cut that way and a cut that way and grind it, so then it ends up being a riffle that looks like that. So anyway, we'll cut it, see how we go. Right, next process is to glue it, join it and clamp it down. So we'll do that, glue it, clamp it, and then we'll make the shape to do the riffle. So next process. Okay, I've got most of the riffles in, still got a bit more to go. I'm going to try and seal up the gaps along the edges here with some silicone, black silicone. We'll see how it goes. Etch it up with some acetone, hopefully, before I go to stick all this down. But yeah, that's my rubbish bin drop riffle sluice. Let's have a bit of a look. We'll go in low. Right, we've got our little beveled slick plate there, a drop down, another drop, a few differences in there, little step ups, some back cuts, some square edges. This was just a folly. I don't know whether it's going to work or not. It's probably going to mess it all up, but at least it'll give it plenty of flow right in the centre to hit these big riffles, which are higher than the others. And they're just boxes. And this one's a straight cut. That one there, just in here, actually has a bevel at the bottom. This one has a bevel at the top to help it flow over. This one has a straight cut with a bit of a bevel at the bottom. Again, a step up, a few grinder marks, who knows. Keep the holes drilled, and then a beveled edge back down, and a straight step up, and then a beveled edge here, and a beveled edge there, and then just a drop off at the end. I've got some braces to go over the top, and I've got some aluminium that I'm cutting out of a bit of box section to go along the edges to just strengthen the bottom, silicone them on, maybe pop rivet them on, and just make it so it's a bit stronger around the edges. Okay, I've made these aluminium braces to go over the top so you can at least put a rock on it to hold it down in the sluice, in the river, because it's going to be quite light, I presume. I made it, and we'll see how it runs once we get some water flow. But yeah, they're going on there. Okay, it's just had a coat of paint after the plastic primer was put on and let it dry overnight. And we'll just let that dry. So there we go. Do a wrap up of how it came up, and hopefully we'll get some water somewhere, or I'll have to make a power head to go and test it. Cheers. Okay, all done. It's had its paint job, but it's still drying at the moment. So that's a Poverty Prospecting Australia, the Matrix Neo drop riffle river sluice. Got the bracing on it, pop riveted on, got the edging down the bottom, give it a bit of extra strength and stuff and rigidity in the actual creek. I'm pretty sure it's going to be rigid anyway, but yeah, all scuffed up. Hopefully this homemade contraption of mine may catch something. We'll soon see. Stay tuned for the first test video if we get water, or I make the power head. Thanks guys, and don't be afraid to have a crack. You never know. All up, this has cost me basically a day mucking around with it. Bit of scrap alloy, free plastic, and $40 for the glue. So stay tuned for the test. We'll see how it goes on its first run out. Cheers guys, hope you like this content. If you do, please give us a like. If you want to, subscribe. I won't force you, it is free. But don't ever be afraid to have a crack, because if you stuff it up, who cares? Throw it in the bin, start again, learn from your mistakes. Cheers, Andy, Poverty Prospecting.